Okay, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us today for another CTC software webinar. Today we're going to be talking about Nexus in Civil 3D and how it relates more specifically to CAD managers using the CMS or content management system. We will have one more focused on the users and Nexus coming up in the near future. My name is Tony Crick. I'm the Civil CAD Manager here at CTC Software. And if you're joining us live today, thank you for spending the time with us. If you're seeing this on our YouTube channel, which will be available shortly after this presentation, thank you also for joining us. And if you have any questions as we go along here, please feel free to enter them in the questions pane, and I will try to get to them during the broadcast if we can. Otherwise, there certainly will be time at the end for a Q&A. So with that, let's get started. Okay, so CMS in the Nexus suite is really a leading industry content management system developed specifically for the AEC industry. Nexus has some powerful Revit and core AutoCAD features, but no one really manages anything for the Civil 3D environment. Nexus CMS has all of the Civil 3D styles now available and many other core Civil 3D settings and definitions. As many of you out there who are CAD managers or really power users know that sharing Civil 3D content is not really the easiest thing to do. So we have our tool palettes, and they're not really easy to distribute. There are a lot of hoops you got to jump through to get stuff off of there. And they're hard to maintain and navigate through sometimes. In this webinar, we're going to show you how we can get Civil 3D content from Civil 3D and into a management system where you can easily share it with all of your users, and they can get that into their drawing files easily. So today we're going to talk about current tool palettes and the distribution, kind of the pitfalls, how things are done today. We're going to outline library creation in the CTC portal, specifically for CAD managers or those supporting CAD staff. And we're going to demonstrate some Nexus CMS loading from the Civil 3D environment and their content. And we're going to process some of those Civil 3D styles into and show how to distribute them from the Nexus CMS more efficiently. So as I mentioned before, we have not the best way of using and sharing our Civil 3D content across an environment, company, between users, and the like. So one of the ways we've been doing it forever is Design Center. Well, that's sort of a one-off thing. It's in a Windows file environment. We don't have good ways of finding content, and it's really kind of a hunt and peck kind of thing. And we have our tool palettes, and some people have those just fully loaded, and tool palettes will still have their place, of course, but getting things to and from and sharing, that can be really time consuming for a CAD manager and also a little clumsy at times. And then Civil 3D styles are not easily shared, and they're really hard to update and track when we do make tweaks to it. And so what about for our remote users? They would probably have to get at stuff through a VPN or some other way if they're not connected to your network directly, and that's really not very efficient. CMS will go right to the cloud where they can manage it really from anywhere with any device. And then with that, we have users going rogue, as I call it, and I'm guilty of it myself in the past, mining other drawings. You had a style, you had maybe a block, you had some piece of content that you really liked to use. So you'd open up Design Center and go get it, and then other people are doing their own thing, and that gets some inconsistencies, and you have some difficulties at plot times sometimes, and nobody's really doing it the same. So CMS will help to clean some of that up and make things more efficient for you as a CAD manager and, in the end, the users. So let's go take a look real quick at some of the pitfalls as we discussed with Civil 3D specifically. And this, you don't have to manage Nexus, the CMS, within a drawing format. It's an external program that can be managed by you, the CAD manager, without ever being in Civil 3D. The only caveat to that is if you're going to get data, you do have to have a Civil 3D drawing open. And any drawing, for that matter, can be open. So you might have something like this, what we call our Civil 3D design warehouse, where you've taken a number of styles, things you have, different labels, different alignment styles, profile styles, and you might be dumping everything in there just so you can get it out of there. So we might fill this thing up with all kinds of stuff, and then to build a template from that where people can get at things more efficiently that they need to use, maybe specific to some sort of industry or client or something of that manner. So how would we do that? Well, first we'd probably, as my crutch has always been in the past, go right to Design Center, and now I can get at my open drawings. I can, of course, navigate through folders to look for things I might be looking for, different ways of doing this. And then really to find stuff using the search that they have, I find this not to be the most efficient way to find things. And I have, in the end, just been frustrated and started just poking around myself. Hunt and peck, stab away. There's some limitations to how this works, and it can be really slow too, because if you're telling it to go here and you want to search a whole file path or something else, it's just going to chug along and can lock up your drawing. So not the best way to do that. So then too, sharing things from tool palettes, and especially for us Civil 3D users, would be assemblies and sub-assemblies and things of that manner. Stuff like this, we can pull all of these out of the tool palette, and these are just out-of-the-box things. We can make specific libraries for these if we want to. There's a number of different ways that we can manage this. So custom sub-assemblies, for example, you have to access that tool palette. You have to have those there. Just a number of pitfalls, really, to doing that. And for these styles as well, in your tool space over here, there's no central location or way to get them out of there. It's if you want it in a drawing, you click it, you drag it, you drop it, and that really isn't very efficient. So let's look at some of the ways that Nexus can help us out. So the first thing we need to do as a CAD manager is we need to set up our account and then log in. So you'll get something like this, and this tells us right here as we're logged in. And this is where we create our libraries. So some of the best practices for this ahead of time, you're going to want to have a plan. You're going to want to know what you want to do with your libraries and who you want them to be used for, who you want to have access to them, different ways that you as a CAD manager can keep track of these and let your users know what's out there. So the first thing you come here to do is you want to make yourself a library. So we click on the CMS portion of it right here, and this shows all of the libraries that are available to you today. If you want to get rid of one like this, I'm going to get rid of this one to show you. If you have a bad one out there, we use some of these internally here as these, we give them a Z notation just to show that they're temporary, so we can get rid of those at any time so anyone else can come in here and clean it up that has access to it. So we want to make new libraries. So we want to start with our libraries right here. Again, these are all the libraries that are available within Nexus CMS for us specifically and across your organization, and how we allow users to get at that. So we just simply hit the create new library here and we give it a name. So I'm going to just call this one for today Z demo. We'll kind of focus on survey, I guess, today. And then we can give it a description here too. That helps our users know what they might be used for, so they can easily thumb through these too. So we'll just call it something like that. We hit the create. And now we have it created. So now that it's created, we can come in here and we can add some images to these if we want to, if you want your company logo or whatever. I think I have some of those coming up. I can show you what those look like. And then here's where you allow your permissions. So within CTC, we have set this up by discipline. So we have our architectural, civil survey. You might have something like a bridge department, a land development department maybe, or drainage department that you might want to give certain access to. And then we also have our roles here. That's what the R stands for. You can, of course, structure this however you want to. But we have for our CAD or BIM managers, and then the everyone bucket that right out of the chute allows everyone access to it. So then if I hit next and I update, I'm ready to go. The consumer. So now we've created the library. And it exists right here. Right here. So it exists here. We know it's there, and anybody can get at it at any time. And that's really all there is for you as a CAD manager. You might want to change permissions at some point as you go along here. And now we can come into our CMS, our Nexus CMS. So first thing when we open it up, it's going to look like this with your home page. We have some drop downs here with already saved libraries here. We can do some searches. We add content here. Some specific things you might want to do for yourself. Maybe set these user settings, there's a number of those here, how you want things to appear. I have this slated right now to see 50 per page, and I'll show you what that means in a few seconds here. But we have these other settings here too. So with that, we can get at our libraries. So as I click this right here, here's some already the pre-made libraries that we saw in the portal. If I refresh this, we should get the one we just created, and it's this one right here. If I open it up, we see here it has nothing loaded, so nothing found. There's nothing in here. It's an empty library. We're starting from scratch. But if I wanted to see what was in some of these other libraries, I could come back to my Home tab right here. And I can click on the libraries and I can start to open these up to see what's in there. Now we have Revit content. Here we have MEPPP content, a number of different things that we have set up for our libraries. We also have this one for templates. So if you have your drawing templates out there that you want your users to be using, they can be right here. We don't have to worry about where they're path to. We can grab them right from there. So we can just grab that and load it, and we're ready to go with a basic template if we want to, or however we've got this set up. And I mentioned before about that logo. This is what I was talking about right here. So these logos were added here to know that these are specifically created by and for CTC. Yes, I don't have any out-of-the-box ones here that don't have that, but that's what that was about. Let's go back to the home page here. And let's talk about how we can add some content to our library. So I have made from this warehouse drawing, and I'll let you know right now that a drawing like this, if you're going to pull data from it, it's going to take a long time. So I did this last night before I left, and it took around 2 hours. Let's look at that library. Probably took around 2 hours to populate that whole thing. But from there, you can start to pull any data you want. So within this library, there are 2,019 items in here. And you can see all of the civil styles are in here. We can also do some filtering from here, right here, if I just want to see subassemblies. Let's do this one too. Hit apply. I guess I didn't put any in there. Thought I did. But we do have some other ones in there. If I change my library, I think this out of the box one. So here I have some in there. I put some custom subassemblies within there is where they're loaded. So in order to get stuff into our library, come back here to our add content library. And I want to use, this is the drawing that I have open. Okay, so I can't pull anything from this drawing when I have it open, but I do need to have a drawing open. Let me change this to drawing 2. And in fact, I'm going to, let's look at this one for a second real quick. So this is one we're going to pull some data from. Now this has been cleaned up. There's not a lot of stuff in there like the warehouse drawing. A few surface styles, alignment styles I think are pretty basic in here. Yeah, just the standard. So not a lot of data in here that we can get at. There's some survey point styles here that we can get at. So we can get all of that out of there. So let me open or get my Hive back up here active. And we can pin this here so we don't need to open it anymore. And it's fully functional inside my AutoCAD drawing, as you can see right there. So I'm going to go ahead and close this because we are going to take data from there and it won't go. Probably should have left it open to show you what it looks like. If you don't remember to have that closed. But so here's my design app, and this is just a straight up AutoCAD template that I was loaded from, so there's really nothing in there. But that's not important because we don't want to get at that. So to add content, first we need to pick the library we want it to go into. Oops, that's not the one we want to do today. I want to do this demo one. So I'm going to select that demo folder right there, or library, I should say. And because if I didn't have CAD open, I wouldn't get this option, this CAD files option. But from here, I can come and I can grab elements from a drawing or the tool palettes. So if I wanted to pull stuff from the tool palettes, I would open that up and I would get all of this stuff available from the tool palette. So since I don't have that, let's just do this one first. That shouldn't take too long. So here's all of the assemblies that are already available, which come right from the tool palette over here. They're the exact same things that I get from here. And I don't know if I have to do this actually. I'm going to select them and I'm going to add them. And once they're added, they get populated here. So if you're pulling from the warehouse, you're going to do it all at once instead of doing it in chunks. It is best practices recommended to open that, pull from that drawing, let it go get everything, and there was 2,000. So it's going to take a little bit to find everything, but where it really takes time is in the processing. So that's why we recommend, if you want to have a library reflective of the design warehouse, that you go ahead and do it all in one, and then just let your machine work over lunch or as you leave for the day, and let it process overnight. So if I tell this to process, it shouldn't take too long, so it's only 15. But this will add into our new library these that we recommended. You can see them popping up in the background as they come into being. So this is going to take a few seconds here. So just bear with it, and we'll go and get some other content. Just showing you how we can get some of our Civil 3D tool palette stuff out of there. I probably should have only done half of them. These do tend to take a little bit longer when you're doing a presentation such as this. So again, if you have any questions as we go along here, please feel free to type them into the questions panel. And we're halfway done. I'm just going to cancel from here. I'm not sure if they'll take the ones I have. If I cancel, I think that should end it. So you see we've got the basic one, we got some errors, or one errored out there. So if I simply close that now, and go to my search, open up the library we're looking for, hit apply. There's the subassemblies that came across right there. So we pulled those right from the tool palette, the basic Civil 3D Imperial. Again, that came right from our tool palette. Not sure where that one is exactly, but it's one of these guys. But any of these we can get at. Here, I think it's this one. Nope. Anyway, so let's go back and add some more content from that survey drawing that we had open before. So I can go ahead and I can just remove all these right now, because they're already in our library. They don't affect anything. Just kind of cluttering up things right there. So if I come to my CAD file again, elements in a drawing. Now I have to go get my drawing. So we want from this survey drawing right here. So as I open that up, it scans the entire drawing for everything that's in there. And there's not that much in here, so it won't take that long. But this is why I said earlier, if you're going to mine or pull content from a large drawing, you're going to want to do this step first and then wait a little bit as it populates before you select and process, because that's what really takes the time. So within here, if we just wanted to pull a few things, we can see we got some surface styles came with it. Some of the things we talked about, point styles, label styles, and they all match our Civil 3D tree over here of what they are. So label styles have the little icon. So we know right away just by looking at them what they are. But if we just want to pull a couple of things from here, we can start to use our filters. So if we're looking for something like, I don't know, how about just label styles? Just label EL today. We're going to spell that EL today. And you saw it started to populate anyway without even the right. It's a little choppy here. But so this is all the styles that have pulled, label styles that have pulled from Civil 3D. From here, we can pick and choose what we want. We can run a number of different filters here to see what we're looking for. Maybe we're looking for profile styles. So we have a number of profile styles: pressure pipe, regular profile styles, profile view styles. Whatever we have in here, we can search for. All the blocks that are in here. Let's see, maybe we just want to pull a bunch of blocks. Maybe we want to have a library that's full of blocks. So here's all the blocks that it pulled from within this drawing. But specifically, if we wanted to get at some trees. So as an example, I will do a search for tree. And here's what we get. Now we're limited down to this many trees. So if we want to load just these 2 trees, let's say, first thing you need to do is you need to highlight all of these and then uncheck them, because otherwise it's going to grab all of those trees. So if I check just those 2, that's all I'm going to get added to our library up here, along with the stuff we've already put in there. So let me hit the add elements. And I didn't clear them all. So let me go back. Let me do that again. Kind of persnickety sometimes to how you do that. And I do have to go open that drawing up again. And I forgot to remove those. which I should have done also, because I don't want all of those. I just want to get the 2. I'm going to cancel that. Cancel that process, do it again. Let me get all of these out of here. Okay, do it again. You probably noticed I saved that path the first time I was in there to that drawing, so I don't have to navigate to it. It defaults to that roaming location where it was before. So now that I'm back to here, I need to come and uncheck all of these. So if they stay in the search, the original search, they will show up when you go to add the elements as you saw before. So if I come back here again, I'm just going to do tree. So we just have those. Just to be sure, I'm going to clear them again. Because I did find, for whatever reason, what I did, I sometimes got more than I wanted. Okay, now they're not. So just those 2, I should get just those 2. If I did it right, there we go. Okay. So we have just these 2 that are going to come in. We have some other information here that goes with them. And now if I just tell it to process, just the 2, so it should go fairly quickly. But I'm really doing this to show you out there as CAD managers some of the options available. So success, so they're in there. So now if I come to my search and I can narrow it down to my trees, and we can save these searches too. It should be there. In the right library. Where did they go? Let me try that again. I don't know what I could have done wrong. So as it goes through again, we'll have to go through these steps again. And check them. Go back to our filter. And these 2. You know, it did take kind of a little bit of time, and just so I could show you what I wanted to show you. So let's just grab 1 this time. So as I do this and I open it up, I kind of wanted to show you this 2 ways. Maybe I didn't process it. But we have this little, you notice this little gear tab over here. So this gives us some options similar to your properties. if we wanted to change something, if we had a block that was not created correctly, the other day I accidentally made one in meters and it wasn't coming in right, but we can set the units right here. Typically we would want it unitless and the layer that we want it to come on. So if it says current, it's going to come in at 0, but if we want it on another layer, I can put that on the right layer. And we do want that on our survey symbol tree. And if I save the changes, it's going to update in the background. You saw it flash right there. And now I tell it to process. And if I did this right, we're going to see it in our library. It says it's there. I don't think there's anything else I needed to do to that. Maybe refresh. Maybe I just needed to refresh. Did I not put it in the right library? So we can do that. So here's all libraries. If I do a search for a tree, maybe I'll find out where it went to. AutoCAD. So I don't have any. Oh, I've got these checked. So you got to clear those filters. Try it again. Okay, there it is. So I did have it in the wrong library. So if I come here and like I did, not sure where it went to, I can come here and I can click details. And it tells me the one it went to. It says it went into that one. Don't know why it didn't show up, but it's in there. It's in that library. Probably needed to refresh on that. Another way to see the details for these is, as you see up here, we have different views of these. So again, that tree one we just added right there, we see the details for it right here. So if we've got all this and we've got all the libraries available, we can use this search right here. Your users can, you can, to get content out. So there should be some hydrants in there. I'll do hydrants. There's a number of different hydrants, different things. If I clear this, it's not specific to just regular drawing content. So we can have things like these details right here. I don't have any Civil 3D ones, but if you're doing a detail sheet, we can grab these and we can start plunking these in. So if you're doing a project, let's say specific to a DOT or something where they've got all these standard details that you have to put in to every plan set, you can populate them here and you can have your users go grab them. And we can also have Word docs in here. So maybe you've got a Word doc that stipulates what layers things should go on. That, for instance, that kind of thing, you can get access to that right here. So it's really an all-in-one shop where we can get at just a lot of things. So right now we're looking at almost 9,000 pieces of data content in here. So as I scroll down here, I have to use the wheel for it to get to the next page, or you can use this navigation bar right here too. As it gets to the 50, it will refresh. It's thinking. There's a lot of stuff in here. And if I just want Civil 3D styles again, I can just type styles. It's going to search everything and all my, well, not just Civil 3D, but we also have some MEP stuff here. anything that's in any of these libraries. So with that, that's really all I had to show today. Let me unpin that. Okay, so we talked about some of the advantages there. I jumped ahead of myself from my slides and jumped right into the content management, but I showed you how that works. So the advantage is all your content's in one location, like we talked about, and it can include also scripts and macros and Lisp routines. If you have those, we can pull all of that into here. And then the styles like we showed. And the beauty is we don't have to make folders for everything. It's organized and searchable on the one place. So in conclusion, some of the advantages are the content can be cloud hosted or on your local network. However you do things, the cloud host will allow you to be able to update, redo from anywhere. And then your user group management can also be done more easily. And the website portal creation can also be done from anywhere, as I showed you. It's all independent of Nexus itself. So if you're wondering where you can get it from, you can contact your local reseller. We can also come to the home page here, come to our products portion, and click under Nexus, click to get started, where we can sign in to the portal, a little login guy up here, and we can get a free trial too for 30 days. You can try this for free if you would like to. So a couple different ways to go get it. Pricing is right here available to you. We also have our YouTube channel, a playlist of all formerly Hive, now Nexus videos. Like I said, this will be part of it coming up, and we will have more comprehensive usages for CAD managers and other kind of people coming up, but a number of good videos to view here as well. So again, thank you for joining us today.